Thank you, Mr. Senator, Mr. Jenga. And I want to take this opportunity first to thank the Speaker of the Senate, together with the senators, for listening to us, being patient for all this time. And before I proceed, I just wanted to bring to the notice of the Speaker that there is a tweet that was made by one of the senators, somehow concluding as if you have concluded the whole matter. And I wonder whether it is proper for tweets when the process is going on. I have in my possession a tweet by Senator Mwaura alleging that we have rejected Waititu to file evidence out of time as he was requesting. He has not filed any defense, and he waited for all the matters to be raised for him to want to open the case afresh. The people of Kiambu and Kenyans need justice. Waititu must face the full force of the law. No mwizi, no thief should go unpunished. I think you have not concluded that I'm a thief, Mr. Speaker, sir. Please, this is the spirit that has been going on in Kiambu County. And this is what I said yesterday from the beginning, that this honorable house, from today henceforth, they must make a ruling that will change the narrative of Kiambu residents and the readers, because they have made it to the level that they are professional demonstrators in Kiambu and professional bloggers, people who wake up every day to malign other people's names without any consideration of the rights of any person. I'm a married person, I'm a family man who should be respected by all means. Nobody should conclude that I'm a thief. Just like that, honestly speaking. I have a right. I have a right, like any other Kenyan, to be respected. And if I may remind you, because you have gone the same process that I went, rigorous campaigning to be where I am. And this is something I have done when I became the councillor of this city and the deputy mayor, became the MP for Embakasi, I became the MP for Kabete, and now the governor of Kiambu. Not mentioning, I try to be the governor of Nairobi. I'm somebody who has worked hard, who should be respected, and somebody who knows what it is all about to have a seat and take care of it. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, when you are considering, together with the honorable senators, please consider that I'm not somebody who just sneaked to be a governor. Honestly speaking, from the deliberations I have had from yesterday, my considered view is that in future, all speakers that bring a motion to the Senate should be the first witnesses, so that they can narrate and be cross-examined on the motions that they bring to the Senate. Because it is very, very unfair. It is ungodly for me to work the way I worked, to be where I am. Then I'm removed unceremoniously, like somebody, because I'm maybe not in your political right position as you might. And tomorrow with the politics, I might change and be with you. Who knows? We have been changing parties. Nobody knows what will happen tomorrow. So you cannot judge a politician from what was happening last week or yesterday. You don't know what will happen tomorrow. So honestly speaking, I beseech you, honorable senators, that don't judge me from what happened or what is prevailing now. You might be very surprised with what will happen tomorrow and the day after. So please, honestly speaking, handle my case like any other case that has come before you, the 7 previous impeachment motions that came before you, and you handled them with dignity and integrity. Honestly speaking, I had a lot of difficulty compiling the evidence, considering that I'm out of office. I have been barred to be in office. And I was the first, in fact, we are the first governors to be barred to be in office. It is a new experience. It is a new exploration by even the judiciary to get governors out of office. It is the new. But what I did, honestly speaking, I did a lot of photocopying for the evidence. We did a lot of work throughout the 3 days. We have 240 copies of those answers for all those questions lying in the Sergeant at Arms office since Monday. And it was our belief that they shall be admitted, just like the way they had been admitted before. So honestly speaking, I am surprised. But as Mr. Orengo said the other day, a clip that went viral, that the governments of revolutionaries eat their own citizens. What you will do today, what you will do today to Waititu, because you will become governors yourself, it will also come to haunt you yourselves. So honestly speaking, you must be just. Just consider that justice is for everybody. And honestly speaking, I was not given a chance to be heard in the County Assembly of Kiambu, despite sending my lawyers. And it is in the standing orders. What else could I have done? I sent my lawyers. They were there on time. They were recognized from morning, and they were not given any chance to be heard. That alone, honestly speaking, that is a violation of their own standing orders. And even if I'm not a lawyer, but honestly speaking, that one is wrong. I wrote a letter to the Speaker detailing everything, and it was received on 23rd. And I wrote clearly in that letter that we have affidavits of 35 MCAs who did not attend that assembly. And they are there. And if you can send for the documents here, you'll see the affidavits. Honestly speaking, what other truth can the Senate look for to be just? This is a very, very important house in this country. You are very important people that every Kenyan look for. We look up on you to give us livelihood when we are suppressed elsewhere. But honestly speaking, if it took more than 14 days for the motion to be deliberated, and it is clearly stipulated that a special motion must be dispensed with within 14 days. That is a great violation. They came to the voting. There were only 57 members of the county assembly in that assembly. The law requires that they have 2/3 who will vote for yes. Seriously speaking, even if you don't like Waititu, but the numbers are on my side. The numbers, and everywhere, because I have been in these assemblies as elected member, I know numbers everywhere. You are a senator because you are elected, and numbers were announced so that you became a senator. The same with me. I became a governor because of numbers. Numbers are supreme in every case. They are cardinal. You cannot ignore numbers. Honestly speaking, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beseech this House to make a ruling that cannot be challenged in any court of law, so that everybody would admire to be a senator. Like me, I thought that when I am through with Kiambu, I'd become a senator. Honestly speaking, yes. I know I contest and I know I can get. Yes, I'll be a senator one day. Because my strongest belief is that this house, when I was part of the people who are making the constitution, I was in parliament here. I was in this parliament when the constitution of the devolution was made. And honestly speaking, people never thought there was going to be any cheating in the county assemblies when people are being impeached. It is a new discovery. There is nothing like that. Nobody expects something like that anywhere in the world. That lying can be done at the county assembly level, then it comes to the Senate, and such an important thing, such an important issue, the basis of impeachment is ignored. Honestly speaking, just consider my case the way you would like yours to be considered when Waititu will be the senator here. Mr. Speaker, sir, the lady who alleges that there were malpractice, that I participated, has not made any complaint in any police station. Mr. Speaker, the lady was not called here to testify. In her affidavit that was read here, it did not mention me. It mentioned some county officials, not me, not Waititu. Again, Mr. Speaker, the authors of that document, the ombudsman, were not called in this assembly to testify that it is true that that document is genuine from their office. They could have been called. This is an important matter. Getting rid of somebody who was elected with over 800,000 votes. You can imagine going around 12 constituencies to be elected. Honestly, such an important issue. The ombudsman could have been here. They show the evidence where I was informed, whether there is any document implicating me. They never called me. I have never seen them. I just read in the newspaper. I have never seen them. Honestly speaking, if they were called here, it could have been very good so that they are cross-examined, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, the gentleman who gave evidence here, as the second witness, Mr. Eric Kiriko, has been the Public Service Board member in Kiambu County for the last 6 years. He is the person who was the right person to answer the questions about employment. He could have given the first-hand information. He has been a member for the last 6 years. And honestly speaking, right now, he is employed by the deputy governor against court order, which I have here from Justice Macau, that Mr. Nyoro, as a deputy governor, he cannot nominate, he cannot employ, sack, or even transfer anybody in the Kiambu County. But he has gone ahead to employ over 50 staff. Some of them who are bloggers, their daily work from morning to evening is to do blogging, to malign my name. Honestly speaking, that is the person who was called here as a main witness. He is an illegal employee as per the order from the High Court. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is as per Employment and Labor Relations Court petition number 172/2019. And there is a very clear ruling on the orders. Mr. Speaker, sir, all the allegation by the county secretary that the letters I signed for 26 staff members, whom some of them were working in my office, I think 5 of them were working within the headquarters, Mr. Speaker, sir, was not called to testify on the irregularities that he mentioned. How can you believe such a letter? He could have come here and taken a Bible to testify that it is true that there were irregularities, and he mentions what type of irregularities they were, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that was not done. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Kiambu Public Service Board has 3 members presently. It doesn't have a quorum, but it has 3 members. None of the members was called to testify on the irregularities that I am assumed to have done in employing the cashiers. I'm not part of the Public Service Board. All those members were recruited by the County Public Service Board. Mine was just to give them a letter in a ceremony in the last day of that appointment. But they had gone through the process of recruitment by the County Public Service Board. The same with the cashiers. They were given letters by the Public Service Board. They were interviewed by the County Public Service Board. Mr. Speaker, I urge this House that justice be done to all of the governors who will ever come in front of you. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at those documents, you will see that they are signed by different people. They are not only signed by one person, and I'm one of those persons. Some are signed by the county secretary, some have signed, some were signed by the secretary to the County Public Service Board, and it is therefore not peculiar for me as a governor to have signed those letters. Mr. Speaker, on the allegation of influencing tenders, Mr. Speaker, there is no evidence that was adduced in front of you to suggest that I was given any kickback in those tenders. Mr. Speaker, all of you know that when we are campaigning, we promise our people roads, to make roads for them. And it is not peculiar to Kiambu alone. Every elected person when campaigning, they say what they will do in the future. I said exactly that, even me. And honestly speaking, if you have the chance to visit Kiambu, you go and see Juja Road, the Gatwanyaga, Munyu Road, Kenari in Kamai Road. You see the road in Odhiru. You see another road in Ruiru. You see the desperation of those people for many years. Mr. Speaker, sir, for those procurement staff in my county who went ahead to advertise those tenders, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like the senators and you yourself to understand that these projects were not being done in one financial year. They go in 2, 3 financial years. And that is why when they are quoting, they quote the whole amount, but it will be in different budgets, 2 or 3 budgets before the roads are completed. So, Mr. Speaker, you cannot blame me honestly for a road that was not built for myself. They were to be built for Kiambu people. And honestly speaking, I will repeat it again, that to be elected, you have to give promises, and to execute the promises is not that easy. As a governor, I thought my most important thing is to spearhead the county to achieve development that we had promised our people. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, in absence of any evidence that I got any kickbacks from those tenders, honestly, you cannot take that one as an evidence against me. Mr. Speaker, on the budgeting, we have very qualified staff in Kiambu County. Some who have masters in procurement, some who have PhDs. Those are the people who should have answered any question concerning budgeting and procurement. I'm not a procurement staff, Mr. Speaker. I don't belong to those committees. There are people who are entrusted to do that. Mr. Speaker, to sum up what I had to say, Mr. Speaker, the first witness who was here, and I think he's still here, I can challenge him, Mr. Speaker, sir, to produce any document to show that he has a master's degree. or he is a member of CPK. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House must demonstrate that Kenyans need to be told the truth always by leaders. You should not entertain liars and propagandists to find their way in the assembly, in the Senate. People should know that Senate is a very, very respectable house with people of great integrity, and whatever somebody comes to tell the Senate here must be the truth and nothing else but the truth. It is also important to mention, just to show how gravity of lying in Kiambu is high. My deputy governor has been going everywhere saying that he's a doctor. He doesn't have a PhD. Mr. Speaker, sir, this House must demonstrate and teach Kiambu a new lesson of saying the truth. Deceit, propagandists, honesty in this country must be discarded. Mr. Speaker, somebody talked about a case and this time that zero tolerance on corruption. I have not been convicted. I'm still innocent until proven guilty. Even our president said that in the church the other day, that all those people who have been accused are still innocent. And I believe you, as our senior people here, senior lawyers, whom we have been reading even in school, whom we admire so much, please make sure that you do justice. Make sure that you follow the law and the Constitution, so that your legacy and those people who admire you out there, who go to the school of law to learn to be like you, can learn day and night to be like you. Because you are admired out there by people who would like to see you themselves one day looking like yourselves. Mr. Speaker, I hope that this House will consider that I had the evidence. I have the evidence. It is around in the compound of the Senate for the last 3 days. Mr. Speaker, I had written a letter to you immediately after the Assembly of Kiambu did what they did, and I detailed everything. And the letter that the lawyer for the Assembly talked about, everybody must know that that letter had been written on time, and I expect that justice will be done to me like it has been done before to the other governors. Thank you so much, and God bless you. For those who will be governors, for those who will be governors, remember that MCAs sabotage everything until you bribe them. It is a serious problem handling MCAs. Therefore, honestly speaking, the first witness here is the one who had taken our budget to court. Kiambu stalled for 6 months because our budget had been suspended. Just because he tells people how he's run it, which he doesn't have any document to show. Mr. Speaker, please, issues of MCAs, future governors, I'm now telling the future governors, please know that handling MCAs is a huge task. And I urge you, please consider myself as somebody who is handling that matter. And also, somebody who is in Kiambu, where there are propagandists and liars, where there are people who believe in succeeding by whatever means without using the right of means. This case of mine, honestly, is supposed to be thrown away by the Senate, and I urge you to do what you would like to be done to you under my circumstances, under the circumstances that I'm in. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, other members. On a light note, I want to order members to tell Governor Waititu that I hear you because I've been there before. Honorable Senators, now Governor Waititu did raise an important concern about Senator Mwaura. I'll also be making a communication in the course before we close the sessions, because it's very unfortunate if that happened. So I'll now suspend the session for 15 minutes to allow senators have a short break. Then after that, we shall come back for a closed session discussions. And after that, we'll reconvene after the camera session for voting. So I want to thank all the parties that have been here. I want to thank the senators for your patience. And I want to assure the parties that the senators have heard you, and they will be discussing the issues based on what you have said here, and each one of them will have to make a decision at the end of it. So thank you very much. The session stands suspended.